big transfer news. We're going to start with one Malik Tillman because Bayer Leverkusen are currently in talks. This is the reports from Florian Plettenberg saying Leverkusen looking to activate the release clause. His current PSV deal runs until 2028. Do you like this move of going to from PSV to Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, even though Xabi Alonso has left the club, as well as Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong? Like, what are you thinking about this one?
Look, the move to the Bundesliga, I think, is great. So it is. It's and Jonathan Tah's also left there, right?
Yeah.
So they're in a rebuilding mode, but in a team that's going to play in Champions League, right? So good move to the Bundesliga. I think it's a logical move for him. It'll be a tough season, I think, for Leverkusen because I think we have this expectation now that is maybe a little higher than what we're going to see from that club this year. But yeah, I would think in general a move for Malik Tillman into the Bundesliga, Champions League, that's a nice step for him. I like that move.
Okay. Now you got Frimpong, as I mentioned, Wirtz, Jonathan Tah. You got Eric Ten Hag now in charge.
Yeah.
Hey, let's look at the positives. Won 2 trophies with Manchester United. But do you think this is a great fit for Tillman in a couple different ways? Because there is some room with Wirtz gone in particular for him to occupy some of those spaces that are now free. Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, this is a top club. They're going to be playing Champions League. He's still super young. It's a great move. It's a big step in terms of their Eredivisie and Bundesliga. And now you're playing Champions League football just like he was with PSV, but now it's with a better core players around you. Yes, it would have been nice to have Frimpong still. It would have been nice to have Wirtz around, but I think he's going to be playing in that Florian Wirtz role, which is great because you are a free role type of player. You can kind of dictate the tempo. He's going to be tasked with finding the creativity for the team. So I like it.
Yeah, in some ways, is he just to have this conversation, or at least to say this out loud, has he reached his ceiling at PSV? Is there anything else that he can do? He's won the league. He obviously had good performances in the Champions League. They could take a step further in the Champions League potentially, and obviously he could continue to be the main driver of their attack. But outside of that, in terms of timing, I like it. You go to the Bundesliga, another thing I like too is you get to be part of a new project right from the get-go, right? So Eric Ten Hag inherits Xabi Alonso's team and starts to see you as a critical piece to how the attack's going to move. Whereas, if you come in year 2, year 3 of that project, maybe you're not as pivotal to the plan. So I do like that move. All right, let's talk about another one that just hit us in the face on the radar this morning, or at least for me at least. Nottingham Forest are currently finalizing the move, Big Tones, for Juventus's Tim Weah. Wow. Premier League time for Tim Weah. What are you thinking about that?
Well, we did this morning on Morning Footy, and I'll bury the lead. I don't like the move for him. Now, again, I'm always going to say this because money aside, because the financial part of it probably plays a big role. Remember, their owner has a boatload of money. So if that's the case, more power to you. But I look at it from you're leaving a side that is playing in Champions League to go to a side that's playing in Conference League, right? I don't know that it's going to be as glorious. Look, Nottingham Forest up until the last 2 weeks of the season was fighting for Champions League place. It was a magical run by them this season. I don't know that they can sustain that as a club. They do sign Nuno, so that's re-sign him again, give him an extension on his contract. But where do they see him play? Is he a forward? If he is, he's got to be better than Chris Wood, or he's got to be better than Anthony Elanga, right? If he's a right-sided midfielder, they don't play that way. They play with 3, so that midfielder has to be more interior. But they like the young kid Dominguez, right? Is he your fullback? I don't know what the answer is. Aina, that's my point. Yeah. Aina, does he go in and play for Aina? So you see where I'm going with this, right? It's like where do this particular club in the positions that we think Timothy Weah plays in? He's got a lot of competition, right? So are you getting into a moment where you're doing this again as a sub?
But Tony, this is the problem. And I think for every player, when this moment comes, when a bid comes in for you and the club accepts it. Essentially, We want you to go. You know what the club feels about you at that point. And so the writing's on the wall. Now, I think every player thinks, okay, I'm not really wanted here. It's a big year for me. Okay, but I'm getting a step up to the Premier League. The Premier League is king. And so your salary naturally increases, and you're thinking, okay, I'm not playing Champions League, but I'm going to the Premier League, and my team doesn't want me. So it's either wait for another team that maybe won't come, you don't know, or you stay and you know you're not going to play. So it's like, I'd rather at least take a chance, and this happens with love. I'd rather take a chance leaving. At least I know the team wants me. I don't know if I'm going to be a starter, but I'm going to be involved. I'm going to at least get an opportunity versus staying and not playing in a massive year. So I think that I agree with you, Tony. I don't think it's the best place for Timothy Weah, but is it a little bit better given that they want him and they're going to try and give him opportunities to play here and there? Obviously, Alanga, Olaena, you go down the list, guys who are kind of set and have won the coach's trust. It's a really tough position to be going into a team that outperformed all of their metrics and expectations, and you think you're going to, break in somewhere, and you're not starting in a best 11 spot.
Yeah, Tim Weah, he played in 43 games in all competitions for Juve last season, 6 goals and 4 assists. Anthony Elanga, who we're talking about being the starter on that right side for Forest, 6 goals and 11 assists in the Premier League alone, and
he was very good, very good.
I really love his verticality too, right? When they get it, obviously they're a team that's built for transition and counterattacks. That guy just took off, and I think that Tim Weah could do something similar and has some of the same player profile to Elanga in some ways. And Elanga now might be linked to moving to Newcastle.
Yes.
But everybody is. Every player is.
You got to look at all the top players around Europe. They all get linked. Just because they're linked doesn't mean jack.
Sure.
So, and I'm not going to Nottingham Forest unless I actually see Newcastle have signed Elanga. That means I'm filling that spot, right?
The conversation's different.
It is, and the move looks better. To some of the comments on YouTube, the move looks better.
I'm not going to a club like this and going.
But you asked me today. You didn't ask me a month from now.
I hope he gets sold with my fingers crossed.
Yeah, but if I was Tim Weah, then I would want to hear from Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager, like, well, what's your plan? I mean, you wouldn't make that move. I don't know. I wouldn't make the move if it felt like I was going to have a similar role to what I have at Juve. Though he hasn't played a lot under Igor Tudor so far in the FIFA Club World Cup either, and clearly isn't first choice, unfortunately. So we'll see if that continues or if they're letting that room to breathe so he can make a move. I'm kind of curious. I know. You're sad. We've come to the end of the video. But if you want more average to good content from your favorite former U.S. men's national team players, this is the channel to make it happen. Go look at our other videos. Go look at our playlists. And if you want more of the content, the best way to make that happen is to hit like, hit subscribe, and then turn on all of your notifications so that you do not miss anything that we drop or when we go live or whatever it may be. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.